Project Tower Defense is a game that has been in the works for about 4 years now, I think. And the title is a little bit misleading because it's not really a new game, and it's been around since around 2022. And it's been closed for a little while now because the devs have been working on a really big overhaul update for the game. So, what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be covering some of the gameplay, showcase towers, and the game mechanics that you can expect. And also, I want to give a big shout out to Planet's video showcasing the training map, and then also the Developing Masters YouTube channel for giving the devlog, because that was a lot of help. Because pretty much all my notes are just from those videos. And by the way, this isn't a collage of every single leak, because if that was the case, this video would be like 30 minutes long. So I just want to say that this is kind of just like very basic stuff that you should know about the game. So first, I think it's most important to go over the game mechanics. So just to list off the quick ones, we got inspecting zombies, which, as you can read here, gives description and abilities. And then targeting is color coded, which I don't really remember what that means. And I'm pretty sure somewhere, I don't really remember where I saw it, it mentions tower deaths. So this is a major possibility. And then we got cutscenes, an animated narrator, so like the dialogue, and then the guy who's speaking is like animated. It's like that's kind of what I meant by that. And then you unlock the tower after beating training, which is a little unique because I don't really think any other tower defense game really does that. So now for some of the more juicy stuff, we got each map is its own mode. So pretty much, you can see the different maps here: Planeways, Gold Rush, Swamp, and Simulation. Pretty much each of these are their own mode. So you can see here map, gimmick, concept, models, animations. And yeah, this is honestly pretty unique. I don't think any other tower defense game has done this either. Then you can also see here the game is releasing late 2026, so that's when you can be expecting it. And I do remember Planeways and Simulation, but I don't remember these two from the original game. So I think these will definitely be an interesting addition. And you see here the gimmick. I don't know what the gimmick for any of these could be. I don't even know the gimmick for the training map. I think it was that the map changes. Maybe that was the gimmick. And speaking of the map changes throughout mode on training. I don't know if this is for other modes too. Maybe this is the gimmick for the mode, but there's also zombies ragdolling. They don't really ragdoll, they kind of just get flung. Towers take time to build. I think the beginner towers, I think, take around 2 to 5 seconds if I remember. And pretty much what this means is when you place it down, it doesn't immediately start shooting. It takes 2 seconds to actually be placed down, and then it starts shooting. And there's also more simple stuff like boss intro cutscenes. That's pretty much the only simple thing here that I haven't mentioned. There's tower placement snapping. So pretty much tower placements on a square, and you can snap them to the closest tower, which I think could be really helpful for mobile players who, have trouble with actually placing towers close together. And then here you can see ISO and cluster targeting. What this means is that cluster just means towers will attack enemies in clusters, with ISO being towers will attack enemies that are isolated from all the other zombies, which I don't really know what would be good for. But I think this is something that's very long overdue, especially cluster targeting. And there are quests, which was specified as very important. Pretty much, it's a major mechanic in grinding. It unlocks progression-based items, which I'm pretty sure is how it was actually said in the video, such as modifiers, which aren't really the same as in TDS. Pretty much, what these modifiers will do, it's gonna give bosses more attacks and overhaul mechanics and stuff like that. So it's actually a lot different because, it's just more than like faster enemies and more health. Now for the gameplay, we have the narrator, who's the mission control. I don't know if this is actually going to be the final tower placement limit, but in the video, It did say 1,000 tower placement limit, which honestly I don't think would be the case in the real game. Maybe it's just a placeholder. Now for the detections, it's just simple, hidden, and flying. There definitely will be more detections, I bet, because the next thing here, multiple tower types I need for different jobs. So there's definitely going to be more than hidden and flying. And then minor bosses can stun, like the Necromancer and the Infected Giant. And then bosses can also give tower debuffs, like making them shoot slower. I think this is specifically the final boss in training, where it's like the gambling guy in pretty much what he does. I think this might be the gimmick. He can like gamble and give your towers like certain debuffs or give him health. And then instead of the usual 2 starter towers, there are now 3. And speaking of that, there's the Woodsman, Recon, and Sharpshooter. The Woodsman is kind of just like the slasher, and then the Recon is a scout, and Sharpshooter is just a sniper. That was all I pretty much wanted to cover. Please check out Planet's video, that was a big help. And also check out the devlog posted on the Developing Masters channel, and I will link them in the description. And please don't forget to like and subscribe, it helps a lot, and I'm trying to grow this channel. Alright, thank you.